Jacqui Scott is one of Perth's most influential speakers, and I've just had the pleasure to just meet her. She's a very flamboyant and colourful lady, as you can see, and she's here today to share some brilliant tips on how you can have a positive life, a brilliant life, and most of all, be the best version of yourself. So Jacqui, thank you for being part of the show.
Thank you for inviting me and having me here. It's my pleasure. I think for myself, I've always felt that I had something to say. Even as a little child, I felt in my heart that there was a message already there that I wanted to share. And it's quite funny actually, because later on in life, I found myself just wanting to go out and speak to people or help people without they even asking for any help. So I became a maths and science high school teacher, and I knew I was going to be teaching or preaching, I used to say. And so I became a teacher. And then I still felt that there's much more that I wanted to say. And so then, and it was all to do with how I was feeling of the heart. So I decided I wanted to start speaking publicly and letting people know some of the things that made a difference to their life.
So it didn't come about because of an accident, like a swimming pool,
like others,
something like that. Like some people get into things.
So many people have had, their aha moment from something happening like that. No, I feel for myself, I just knew I was born awake. I know that's a heavy statement to say, but I knew from the start that I understood life, and I thought all beings understood life. There wasn't anything other than to live and be present and enjoy and be the best version of yourself. Yes, be the best version of yourself.
So it's like a vocation, a calling from God, perhaps?
That's what my grandmother used to say. I feel that it's just like all of us, we all have gifts. And this is a gift that I own and I love. And for me, it is what I was called to do. I love it. I love transforming lives. I love letting people know that they don't have to live that way, that they can actually raise their standards and they can live authentic lives, so.
No, that's really great stuff, and I'm sure a lot of your followers can really appreciate those sentiments.
Yes, they do. They feel the shift.
So Jacqui, what do you think are your audience's stumbling blocks, and how do you provide inspiration for them? What can you help them with?
What can I help my audience with and followers? I think the main thing I can help them with is that they will learn to love themselves. A lot of people don't love themselves. And that's a very big statement, because they can love other people, they can love their partners, they can love their jobs, but then what about the relationship with you and you? And so when I start to deepen the relationship with you and show you how you can get to know that one, that not just the head, the one that's connected to your heart, the higher self, and you start to understand that you can have a much better relationship. And that's really where life gets very exciting for you. Very exciting.
Do you think, that's a great answer, do you think business people have trouble loving themselves?
Absolutely. To some extent, because their focus is always being on business or wanting to make more money or do more, or, just to stay in business. A simple thing is just staying in business. So their focus is not actually coming from their heart to say, how am I feeling about this project or what I'm doing in my business, you see? So they're looking outside of themselves. And so what this work that I do, bringing them back into their heart, and what they notice is that their business starts to improve, and they start to get messages or ideas that guide their business in the right direction. You see, and this is very powerful, because they're not using so much their head thinking about, oh, there's not enough money to pay and I need to do this from the bank. No, they're like, how can I serve my audience? How can I help my customers? How can I look after the ones I already have so that they can be the platform that expands and help my other customers grow? So their heart starts to speak to them. And when it's coming from a place of service and a communion and wanting to help others, it's amazing how your business can transform.
Yeah, that's amazing insights. I mean, I myself worked for many companies and have worked for myself, and I've felt that wherever I worked, that I didn't feel there was a lot of love in that business.
Yes.
And so, why do you think that's so? Do you think employees are wrong to judge their employees like that?
Well, I think, do I think employees are wrong to judge others? I think in general, people always feel the need to judge others. It's kind of the human design. But there's a different way of being, I believe, that when you look at a person and honor them as they are, and know that each person is a valuable member to your team, to your business, to your organization. And each person brings something of value. So therefore, you shouldn't be judging, you should be looking to say what they're bringing. And when you start to ask, what is this person bringing? It's a heart question. When you start to judge, and that's a head question, and a lot of businesses, because they want people to produce more or do more, and sometimes when people feel love, they do much better work than when they feel that the boss, depending on them, and they cheat on their boss because the boss has turned their back, and then all of a sudden they do something they shouldn't be doing, like get on the phone and check their Instagram. But if their boss is loving and kind and uplifting of them and honor their good work, sometimes your boss could say, that was a brilliant piece of work. That's of the heart. I think there's a way of communicating with human beings that can bring out the best in them. And I think my work helps people to see that and feel that, because we're feeling beings as well, And for me, when I see someone, their mouth might be saying something, but it's how they make me feel. And I think when employers know how to, get that connection, they'll be able to also connect with their employees, their employers. The beautiful dance, the relationship changes. It's a beautiful synergistic flow.
It's all about dynamics, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So with the the downturn in the WA economy in recent years, do you think this has had an effect on business owners' self-esteem?
Yes. So they go into, there's lack, there's not enoughness. And you see that. They start to cut everything and panic. But if they become expansive, so they open up now and start to ask for other ideas and how else they can bring more growth to their business, then they can also ask their employers, employees, what ideas they have. Because you'll be surprised to know how many companies have stayed alive because an employer asked and got an idea from somebody else outside of his head, an idea that changes business. I believe that, business owners have to start to realize that they're part of a team. They're not against their workers. They've got to understand that. And when they start to treat each person as a valuable member to their team, and with that love that I talk about, because it's a heart, you'll start to get more productivity and more value. And for me, the work that I really do is get people back into alignment. When you're in alignment, there's a flow. And there's an understanding that is deeper than the head trying to work things out. So the ability to access that is what I can bring to companies and businesses and people. They need to have access to this. So it's a little bit easier to live this way, Carlo. Much easier.
It's all about flexibility. And
yes.
I read a book by Sean Aker. He's a Harvard University lecturer, and the book's called The Happiness Advantage.
Yes.
Fantastic book.
Yes.
And he did research with 400 to 500 companies that the more happier a workplace was, the more productive, the more profitable it was. It's amazing research. What did you think?
I know this. It is the fact. It's absolutely a fact. It is the core. I believe it should be the foundation of all business model. Because you think about it, even a happy home, when you have a happy home, how it flourishes. The kids are happy, husband and wife's happy, everyone's happy, the dog is happy. I think really, business model, happiness is a cornerstone for growth, for productivity, and for community too, for people to share and communicate. And if you can get these ingredients working in harmony, and there's happiness there, everyone wins. It's a win-win business model, right?
Definitely.
I know how to make people happy. Reconnect them with their hearts and let them feel that love and the love for the work they're doing as well. A lot of people, once they start to love and enjoy the work they're doing and realize that job is helping their life change as well. So many times people don't focus on the value that something is bringing. They're looking at the negative. What I teach people to do is focus on the positivity in everything that they're doing.
What keeps you going in your business when things are going tough? I think this is one for the guys in the audience to take
Yes.
lots of notice, because look at all the fantastic women business leaders now in associations.
Yes.
I think we've fallen behind.
Absolutely, and men have always been the forerunners when it comes to business. But what is probably one of the things that are a bit missing is that the connection with the head and heart. We women like to openly speak about this, whilst men try to shut themselves down and keep things to themselves. And if they were to start just opening up and sharing from their heart, definitely they'll see a massive improvement in productivity. But I love it when I go into a business place and it's all men and I get to speak to them, because their heart just start to open, like they just start to feel the love and connection, because they've forgotten that you and I, believe it or not, we look separate and you're there and I'm here, but there's something that connects us. And the breath, you and I breathing the same air, the same oxygen. So there's a flow between you. You're just blow out the breath, and some of that breath is already gone in. So it's a flow. We are already connected. And so, you're not different in that respect, like you're over there and here. There's a connection. And men must see that, because men can't understand sometimes when I say, that look at you, you are me and I am you. They don't understand that. But when I say we have a breath and we're breathing that same breath, they say, yes, I understand that. So what I'm saying, that is part of our flow. That's part of the love already that's there. That's part of the connection that's already there. So there's nothing to be scared of or to hide from. So there should be a nice openness in the heart. And when you make that lovely eye contact with me, you can so feel that warmth and connection. Do you understand what I'm speaking about?
Yeah, I can feel it right now. I can feel the warmth. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. That's it. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
I came obviously from traditional Italian parents.
Yes.
And my dad was a person that was very fearful. When he got really angry, we could sense a lot of fear there.
Yes.
So that was that particular generation,
Yes.
born in the 1930s. So what do you
Yes.
think about that?
Yes, I do agree that, back in the 1930s, 40s, just we're shifting in the times right now. We call that more third dimensional, third density kind of vibration, like fourth, density, more stiffness, more, you got to do this. This is the right way. That's the only way. So what's happening now, because the world is changing, and we as human beings, we're advancing in the way we're thinking and who we're being. So we're moving up like what I call a generational or energy plane. And so we're more open, and it doesn't work. We cannot try and control and say, you've got to do it this way now, because people's creativity is so expansive. They're coming up with new ways, new technologies, new ways. Look at social media now. People who are doing amazing businesses on social media. Social media wasn't even around. It wasn't even a word. So we have to move with the times. So the system served that generation to have them, produce a beautiful, gorgeous, healthy son. It works. The system works. But now we've got our children, and things that worked with their system won't work with our kids. Because there's no way I could tell my son to go to the fields, go and cut the grass and the corns and all that. And I was brought up on the farm, and I'm here in Australia. It doesn't work, And so my children have to work in a system that is going to be more revolutionary for the times, because their minds are so expansive. So we just are there as the guide for them to help them be their best. And I think that's what business is all about today. Your team should be about bringing out the best in you.
So do you think, as a manager or a parent or any kind of leadership role, do you think letting go is very important?
Absolutely. Let go and let God. Let go and let goodness. Let go and let... Sometimes when you surrender, I say, and just breathe a little bit, the answers come to you. And then you have to take action, by the way. You can't just sit there for days and say, well, I'm just letting go. You've got to take actions, because it's through taking some action, following through on something, that you're able to create. You understand what I'm saying?
It's like for example, someone's attended one of your, wonderful workshops, and like they've taken all your great words of wisdom, but what's next step for them? Do you think that that's not enough? They need to implement.
You've got to implement. I think it's really important and crucial that you put in place things, and it's things that you're doing every day. For example, some of the things I say, the way you wake up in the morning, I show you a different way of waking up. So you're gonna wake up anyway. Why not wake up this way? The way you think. Try thinking this way. It's a bit different. The way you speak. Just change a couple of words like this, and instantly when you put those in place and in practice, you already start to raise your vibration, your energy. You start becoming more aware, more open, more connected, you see? And when you're in that space, a lot more goodness, good things, opportunities show up. And it's almost like you become like a master creator. It's like alchemy at its best, and that's the beauty of tapping into this way of being. It's very powerful. It's actually the secret, which is not a secret anymore, because I'm going to show you and tell you how easy it is for you to be in alignment with whatever it is that you're asking for. It is that easy.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, insight. So, has it taken you many years to get to this point of way of thinking, or is it something you still feel you're born with?
Absolutely. I think that we're born with a connection already to source. You see little kids playing all the time. They don't look like they're worried about anything, right? They're happy, they're contented, they're flowing. You see animals, they flow beautifully. You look at how nature, the water, the waves come and go. Sometimes it's flat, it's smooth, bumpy. I think we're born with it. It's just many of us have forgotten. And through conditioning, through culture, through media, through many external influences, we lose touch, you see? And so what my role is to just remind people and bring them back into that alignment and show them how easy it is. And it's like a ta-da or aha or booyah. The guy said the other day, he says, I don't know what you did, but it's like booyah. It's like something just breaks open. You're broken open. And so there's a flow then and a recognition. It's like you've remembered who you are. So you start to let go of things that were holding you back. And it's almost you have the answers now for something that you're like, oh, why didn't I think of that before? There's the answer. So there's a really a nice connection. And I say with you and you, it's a connection in the heart. With you, your heart, and you.
Thanks. So as a business person myself, I'm basically a solopreneur, no staff. So I like to send thank you emails to clients that I've done work for, and I've never had a reply back.
Yes.
How do you advise other business people how to react when people don't reciprocate?
I think the main thing about sending thank you notes is that it came from a good place and you sent it. So even if they don't respond to you, it is still a very gracious thing that you've done, and everything is energy. So from you giving that thank you card to your clients, you're letting them know that you appreciate their business. And even if they don't send you one back, but they're acknowledging you anyway. You understand? Just by you sending it. That's how it works. And maybe if you're looking to get a reply from them, you shouldn't bother sending it because you think they're not going to reply if it's a reply you're after. But if it's not the reply you're after, and you're after you sending a thank you to say, I acknowledge the business you've done with me, then it's a beautiful thing. It doesn't matter that they don't reply. That's how a heart-centered being looks at something like that.
So it's all about looking at positivity in just about everything.
Everything is here to teach you something. Everything teaches us something. So if you look at life that way, so sending the card, thank you card, that's a beautiful thing you're doing. So for you, that feels good. You see? But if you're looking for the outcome, then that doesn't feel as good to you because you think they haven't responded. So what I'm teaching you here, saying to you, is that just focus on that part of you, the outcome. Your part is to send the card. That feels good.
So that's probably the ego side of me expecting a reply, isn't it?
Thank you. Absolutely. And that the ego side is one of the biggest destroyer of mankind. Wars have started on ego. Okay? So we've got to really, sometimes I say, keep your ego in check. I always say that because, the ego is that part of you which is all about you and sometimes stop you, and like mine's bigger than yours and mine's better than yours. It's a constant comparison. You can never win with the ego because 1 minute your ego is saying that you nailed it and the next minute it's saying you were terrible at it. So it's changing its conversations constantly. So that part of you is like the clouds. The clouds are coming and going. They're changing. So the ego is just like that. It's not you. It's like clouds in the sky. You are the sky. So don't focus on the clouds.
The funny thing about my line of work, direct response copywriting, is that that's one of the emotions we try and tap into.
Yes.
The prospect's ego.
Yes.
So we kind of come from the other side of
yes. Because that's persuade them, because you target their weaknesses and you ask them questions to see how you can get them to take action. And that's good marketing strategy, and that's good for business. I'm not saying it is not a valid thing to do, but if you're waiting just for responses from the ego to make decisions, sometimes you're not going to get the one you want, And that's really what I'm saying here. So the ego is here to serve us, you see, and if you work in harmony with that, we can still get whatever it is that we want. You understand that?
You've obviously got a lot of inner strength, which is amazing. And but did you ever have a point in your time where things didn't go well, where you failed at something or didn't go to plan? Talk about your biggest failure and how you handled it.
Oh, absolutely. I think all human beings, that's a natural part of life, And for me, what you call failure is for me an opportunity to learn. So it's the way you look at something and how you interpret it. So I've had a failed marriage, but that was the best thing because it gave me an opportunity to learn. And I know what I wanted for my next marriage. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me, my first marriage. So, some people talk about it like their marriage is like a bad thing. Oh, I got a divorce. Oh, I'm so miserable. My wife left me. No. It was amazing. My husband and I decided that our paths were different, and we decided to go our different ways. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. So it's the way you look at it. And now I'm in this amazing marriage now for 20-something years. And if I hadn't left my first husband, I wouldn't have discovered this amazing, beautiful relationship that I have now.
That's right.
That's how I look at life.
It reminds me of this saying by Dennis Whaley. He's a famous inspirational coach. Yes. So you can turn failure into fertilizer.
Yes, that's it.
That
yes,
one.
That's it. That's beautiful, actually.
That always sticks in my mind.
Failure into fertilizer. Yes, because fertilizer makes things grow.
Grow, like the grass.
And that's exactly what it is. So it's not actually failure. It's an opportunity for growth.
Okay, well, I'll just finish up on one last question because I know your time is valuable. What would you say to people watching this that are stuck in their particular situation, or they're looking to start a business, or their relationship's not happy? What would you say to them right now? What's the best thing they could do?
I think the best thing that you could do right now, if you're in a situation that is not in harmony with what your heart is asking you for, I always say just do pros and cons. Write down a few things that you love about the situation and that you don't love. And sometimes when people look at the things they don't love, they realize, I really need to get out of this. And sometimes what happens for people when they start to write things down, they realize, this is not serving me. However, there's been a few times when they do that, they realize that they are the cause of a lot of the issues that they can sort out because they get new insights. So I don't advise anyone to just jump out of a relationship. I thought, let's look to see, because sometimes you can come back together. I recently had a similar situation happen with me, and something happened and everyone said, just leave. And I said, no, you don't just leave. And me staying was the best thing because it took the relationship and everything to another level. And so for me, I want to say to people, look and ask yourself, not just with your head, with your heart, truly, what is the outcome I want from this? What is it that I want to accomplish from my heart? Because if you ask that question, the genuine answer will come up. Sometimes it's not just running away, because nothing you run away from goes away. It goes with you. Okay? Remember that. So in this space that we're living right now, it's all about honoring yourself and being the best version of yourself. If something doesn't serve you, and it definitely doesn't serve you, you feel that in your heart, then you know it's time to make the changes. You never blame another person for things that are not right in your life. Everything is here to teach you something. Everything is about your expansion and about you becoming a better person. So you're only in a competition with yourself. So continue to look at life that way and just enjoy all aspects of life. And look for the little gems, the little nuggets, because life delivers so much goodness to all of us. That's what I would say.
And on that, what a wonderful way to finish this interview. So I'd like to thank Jacqui for providing her time, and it's a really wonderful discussion, and I hope everyone watching got something out of it. I definitely did, and it was a really buzzy interviewing her, and thank you so much.